Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank both the Republicans and Democrats on this committee for working on this legislation. I think it's a bipartisan issue. I don't care if it's Republicans or Democrats. People are concerned about the misuse of their private information. My first question is for Ms. Quaresma, and it is on Section 205, and I'm going to read the section that I'm talking about. It's Section 205B, Data Transfer Requirements Related to Minors. A covered entity shall not transfer the covered data of an individual to a third party without affirmative express consent from the individual or the individual's parent or guardian if the covered entity has actual knowledge that the individual is between 13 and 17 years of age. I think that may need clarification just because you could read it, and I think some of the staff that I've talked to has read it, that the individual, meaning the minor, could give consent to opt out. And so I was wondering if you share my concern or had any concerns.
Thank you for the question. I do have concern about how that could be read. I definitely would not want my child to be able to affirmatively consent, given the definition here. I will note that the definition of individual and minor aren't provided in the statute. However, I do think there is widespread recognition in the law that individuals under 18 cannot contract. And so I think it's okay, but this is something that would end up having to be litigated, and we wouldn't want to tie up court resources litigating something as easy as just defining and clarifying this section.
Thank you. My next question is for both Mr. Lee and Ms. Olhausen, and it's on Section 207, and I'm just going to read part of the summary instead of the bill itself. It says, this section also requires large data holders that use algorithms to assess their algorithms annually and submit annual algorithms impact requirements to the FTC. These assessments must describe steps the entity has taken or will take to initiate potential harms from algorithms, including any harms specifically related to individuals under 17. These assessments must also seek to mitigate algorithmic harms related to advertising for housing, education, employment, healthcare, insurance, or credit, access to or restrictions on places of public accommodation, and any disparate impact on the basis of an individual's race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, or disability status. I have many constituents on the conservative side that are concerned that algorithms are used against people with certain political viewpoints. Do you think that political viewpoints should be added to this? Mr. Lee.
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. I think there may, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert in kind of First Amendment speech with respect to this, but there may be First Amendment concerns with respect to including political class as a protected category, maybe. But I'm not particularly sure, but we would love to get back with your office about that.
All right, Ms. Olmstead?
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Yes.
I think that is an area outside the FTC's expertise, political viewpoint discrimination. So we would need to get back to you. But I would mention the definition of algorithm is also rather broad. So the coalition has some concerns about that sweeping in very routine kinds of business activities.
Well, good. I want to thank all of the people that are here testifying today. I think this is very important legislation that needs to be done, and I hope we can come to a consensus. And with that, I yield back.